Good evening, everyone. Oh, that's loud. Welcome to this month's meeting. I am presiding over the meeting. Mayor Gibson is not available. So, please, since it is November, I would ask all of you to get up, remove your hats for a moment of silence for the people we forgot. I have a little thing to say about them first because it's a particularly important time of the year, especially this year. So for the fallen, lest we forget, they shall not grow old as we who are left grow old. Bien que nous continuons chaque année à rendre hommage à ceux qui ont fait le sacrifice ultime, c'est tellement triste de voir que les guerres deviennent encore les gros titres quotidiens. Let us all acknowledge and remember all those who sacrificed, and to all those innocent victims of war, and to those victims of natural and man-made disasters. It's a time that we should remember all. So I would ask you to stand up for a moment of silence. Thank you very much.
Alors, bienvenue à cette séance ordinaire du conseil municipal de la ville de Kirkland en ce lundi 6 novembre 2023. Il est d'abord proposé d'adopter l'ordre du jour de la présente séance ordinaire du 6 novembre tel que déposé.
J'ai besoin d'un proposant
I'll propose that all for.
qui est appuyé par...
Je m'appuie, Nancy Koginossidis.
Merci.
Au point 3.1, it is proposed that the minutes of the regular sitting held on October 2nd at 8 p.m. be approved.
I need a proposer.
I propose that, John Morrison.
Seconded.
I will second that, Mike Brown.
Thank you.
Au point 4, compte payable, il est proposé de confirmer et d'approuver le paiement d'un montant total de 4 556 807 et 68 sous, pour l'ensemble des chèques émis et annulés, les dépôts directs et les paiements préautorisés pour la période du 1er au 31 octobre 2023.
Proposé par
Je vais le proposer, Steve Bouchard.
et appuyé.
Je m'appuie, Nancy Koginossidis.
We are now under item 5, bylaws. The first item is 5.1. It is proposed to give notice of motion that bylaw number Gen 2024-51, entitled Bylaw Establishing Tariffs for Certain Municipal Services, will be submitted for adoption at a subsequent sitting of the Municipal Council, and to table this draft bylaw. The object of this bylaw is to update the tariffs for 2024, and the adoption of this bylaw is scheduled for the regular sitting of December 4, 2023.
This is a regular bylaw that we adopt every year. Who will give the notice
I propose that, John Morrison.
and tabled by?
John Morrison.
Thank you.
Au point 5.2, il est proposé de donner à l'émotion à l'effet qu'à une séance ultérieure du Conseil soit présenté pour adoption le règlement numéro GEN 2023-53 intitulé Règlement sur le droit de préemption de la ville de Kirkland d'acquérir des immeubles et de déposer ce projet de règlement. L'objet de ce règlement est d'identifier le territoire sur lequel le droit de préemption de la ville peut être exercé et les fins municipales auxquelles les immeubles peuvent être ainsi acquis. L'adoption de ce règlement est prévue à la séance ordinaire du 4 décembre 2023.
This is a very important bylaw that's coming up. It'll allow the city to have first bids on any property that comes up for sale if the city believes that it needs it for its own purposes. So it gives us a little of an edge. I need someone to propose to present the motion, please.
I propose the tabling on the motion, Mike Brown.
Thank you.
Au point 6, contrat, le point 6.1, il est proposé d'autoriser une dépense additionnelle de 21 261,05 $, toutes taxes applicables incluses, payable à les toitures Léon Inc. pour des travaux supplémentaires effectués dans le cadre du contrat génie 2023-10-11, réfection de toiture complexe sportif.
J'ai besoin d'un proposant
Je vais la proposer, Steve Bouchard.
appuyé par.
Je l'appuie, Nancy Coquinacilis.
Merci.
Item 6.2, it is proposed to authorize an additional expenditure of $166,277.93, all applicable taxes included, payable to Rockborough Excavation Inc. for the fuel adjustment for the year 2022-2023 under contract TP 2021-11, snow removal work for the 2021 to 2024 winter seasons with 2 renewal options.
So I need a proposer
I'll propose that, all four.
and seconded by.
And I'll second that, Mike Brown.
Just a little interesting thought, you know. The federal and provincial governments are talking about reducing the price of groceries and everything. When you think about the extra gas, they fail to realize that everything you see has to be transported. And transportation costs a lot of money these days. Thank you.
Nous sommes maintenant sous le point 7, administration et finances. Le premier point est le maire suppléant, la nomination. Donc, il est proposé de désigner le conseiller Stéphane Bouchard comme maire suppléant pour les mois de décembre 2023 et janvier 2024.
Proposé par
Je le propose, Nancy Coquinacilis.
et secondé.
Je le second, all four.
Merci.
Item 7.2. It is proposed to join the Union des municipalités du Québec, which is the UMQ, for the group purchase of damages insurance for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2028, as well as for consulting and risk management services, and to authorize the mayor, the treasurer, or the town clerk to sign for and on behalf of the town the agreement entitled Entente du regroupement municipalité de l'île de Montréal relativement à l'achat en commun d'assurance de dommages pour la période 2024-2028 et de services de consultant et de gestionnaire de risques that is submitted and attached hereto to form an integral part hereof as if fully recycled.
Proposed by
I propose that, John Morrison.
and seconded.
I'll second that, Mike Brown.
Thank you.
Au point 7.3, il s'agit d'une demande d'aide financière. Considérant que la Ville désire présenter une demande d'aide financière dans le cadre du projet d'aménagement d'une patinoire réfrigérée polyvalente au parc Oliver, considérant que le volet 1 du programme d'aide financière aux infrastructures récréatives, sportives et de plein air permet de financer la réalisation de projets de rénovation, de mise aux normes, de construction ou d'aménagement d'infrastructures sportives et récréatives favorisant la pratique d'activités physiques. Il est proposé d'autoriser la présentation du projet d'aménagement d'une patinoire réfrigérée polyvalente au parc Oliver au ministère de l'Éducation dans le cadre du programme d'aide financière aux infrastructures récréatives, sportives et de plein air, de confirmer l'engagement de la Ville à payer sa part des coûts admissibles au projet et à payer les coûts d'exploitation continus de ce dernier, à assumer tout dépassement de coûts générés par les travaux et à ne pas accorder de contrat relatif à des coûts directs avant l'obtention d'une lettre d'annonce de la ministre. Et enfin, d'autoriser le directeur général ou la directrice générale adjointe à agir comme personne autorisée et à signer pour le nom de la Ville tout document relatif au projet mentionné ci-dessus.
Proposé par,
Je le propose, Nancy Coquinacilis.
appuyé par.
And I'll second that, Mike Brown.
We are now under item 7.4. Considering the redevelopment of the Centre Riocan Kirkland, it is proposed to authorize the Director General to negotiate, agree, and sign for and on behalf of the Town of Kirkland all documents required within the scope of the Centre Riocan Kirkland redevelopment project, and to incur all expenses as a result of the foregoing after having discussed the matter with Council.
I will ask for a proposal
I'll propose that Alder 4.
and seconded by,
I'll second that, John Morrison.
thank you. Yes,
Just to be clear, for the recording, with all due respect for my esteemed colleagues, I must vote against this project. For the simple reason, I don't think it goes far enough to the benefit of our residents. And this includes the agreement for the parking. So just to be clear, it may not read that way, but the parking agreement is in there. So I must vote against it. Thank you.
thank you. 7.5,
Alors, point 7.5, il s'agit de la création d'un groupement de municipalités pour une entente avec Éco-entreprise Québec. Considérant que le 24 octobre 2022, Éco-entreprise Québec est l'organisme de gestion désigné par le gouvernement du Québec pour élaborer, mettre en œuvre et soutenir financièrement la collecte sélective sur l'ensemble du territoire. Considérant qu'une entente de partenariat doit être contenue entre Éco-entreprise Québec et un groupement de municipalités portant sur la collecte et le transport des matières visées. Considérant que les villes de Beaconsfield, Dorval, Kirkland et Montréal souhaitent créer un groupement de municipalités afin d'optimiser la collecte et le transport des matières visées, et que la ville de Beaconsfield s'est portée volontaire pour agir à titre de municipalité signataire de l'entente de partenariat à intervenir avec Éco-entreprise Québec, il est proposé d'autoriser la création du groupement de municipalités constitué des villes de Beaconsfield, Dorval, Kirkland et Mont-Royal pour la collecte et le transport des matières visées, d'autoriser la ville de Beaconsfield à agir pour et au nom du groupement de municipalités comme municipalité signataire de l'entente de partenariat, à intervenir avec Éco-entreprise Québec et d'autoriser le chef de division, aménagement urbain et environnement, et le directeur général à convenir des termes et conditions de l'entente de partenariat et de l'entente intermunicipale à intervenir et à signer, pour et au nom de la ville de Kirkland, l'entente intermunicipale, le formulaire annexe de personnalisation de l'entente de partenariat, de même que tout autre document requis pour donner effet à la présente résolution.
j'ai besoin d'un proposeur
Je le propose, Nancy Kokinasides.
et secondé par,
And I'll second that, Mike Brown.
thank you, merci.
Item 7.6 is a request to the Montreal agglomeration and to the Ministère des Transports du Québec to prioritize the project to extend the Boulevard Jacques Bizard between Pierrefonds Boulevard and Highway 40. So considering that for almost 40 years, the Jacques Bizard Boulevard extension project between Pierrefonds and Highway 40, including the interchange between the Boulevard and the A40, has been identified by the former Montreal urban community and the City of Montreal as major regional road network that could significantly improve the traffic congestion that motorists must experience daily on the three main arteries of the West Island, namely Des Sources, Saint-Jean, and St. Charles Boulevard. Considering that the population of the West Island municipalities and boroughs located north of the A40 increased by 38% since the project was identified as a major regional road network necessary to improve traffic congestion and on the three existing north-south main arteries and will continue to increase. Considering that traffic congestion on the Sault Ste. Jean and St. Charles Boulevard has become a security issue, as traffic jams at all hours of the day on these boulevards affect first responders, response times for residents of the municipalities of Ballard-des-Ormeaux, Kirkland, and Pointe-Claire, as well as those of the Pierrefonds, Roxborough, and L'Île-Bizard-Sainte-Geneviève, and that the extension of the Jacques Bizard Boulevard would allow rapid access to the Lakeshore General Hospital, Considering that the construction of this new north-south alternative link to access the 840 is part of the sustainable development projects for the Montreal agglomerations, since it would provide a faster access to the Fairview bus terminal and the future ramp. Considering that the town of Kirkland has already adopted in the past, in July 2014, a resolution requesting the City of Montreal and the Ministère des Transports du Québec to renew their support in favor of the extension of the Jacques-Desarts corridor. It is proposed.
I would say to make a long story short, but it's already too late.
Yeah, no, sorry. It is proposed to request that this project be initiated before the completion of the ramp, to optimize the success of the ramp, to ask the Minister of Transport du Québec to prioritize this project, to ask the Montreal Agglomeration Council to prioritize the extension of the Jacques-Desarts Boulevard between Pierrefonds and the 840, to reduce traffic congestion, provide a faster access to the hospital, and improve accessibility for the bus terminal and the ramp, and that the town be part of any discussion concerning the project between the Ministère des Transports and the City of Montreal in that respect.
Look, we've been asking for this for so many years, we might as well do it again more officially. I need a proposer.
I'm very happy to propose this, Steve Bouchard.
And the seconder.
I'll second that, John Morrison.
Thank you.
7.7, the municipal council acknowledges the tabling before this assembly of the comparative statements of revenues and expenditures of the town of Kirkland ending on September 30th, 2023, prepared by Nadine Vesila, Treasurer and Assistant Director General, the whole in accordance with Section 105.4 of the Cities and Towns Act.
Thank you.
We are now at 7.8. Il s'agit des contributions financières additionnelles aux organismes communautaires locaux pour l'année 2023. Il est proposé d'autoriser les ajouts suivants à la liste de contributions aux organismes communautaires pour 2023. L'organisme est SCDW Condo Association pour un montant de 75 $.
J'ai besoin d'un proposeur,
Proposed by the shop.
appuyé par.
I'll second that, Mike Brown.
Thank you. That's it.
Item 8, Human Resources. 8.1, considering the resignation of employee number 4433, it is proposed to cancel resolution CN 23280 adopted by the Municipal Council on October 2nd, 2023.
Proposed by
Propose that, John Morrison.
and seconded.
I'll second that, Nancy Kokinasidis.
Thank you.
Au point 8.2, il est proposé de nommer et confirmer M. Jerry Vu au poste de code blanc chargé des communications internes et externes, au sein du service des communications et relations publiques de la ville de Kirkland, en date du 8 mai 2023, le tout conformément à la convention collective présentement en vigueur pour les employés code blanc de la ville de Kirkland.
Proposé par,
I'll propose that, Mike Brown.
appuyé par.
Je le seconder, Steve Bouchard.
We are under Urban Planning Advisory Committee. We have a few items under this. The first one is 9.1. It is proposed to grant in conformity with bylaw number 9063, entitled Bylaw Concerning Minor Exemptions for the town of Kirkland, the following minor exemptions of zoning bylaw 9058. The address is 19501 Elkins Boulevard. It's on lot 2458061 in zone 102R. In order to allow a rear setback of 7.35 meters instead of 7.6 meters, Article 10.14 of the present zoning bylaw requires a minimum rear setback of 7.6 meters in zone 102R.
Proposed by
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
and seconded by.
And I'll second that, Mike Brown.
Thank you.
Point 9.2, il s'agit d'une autre dérogation mineure. Il est proposé d'accorder en vertu du règlement 90-63 intitulé Règlement relatif aux dérogations mineures de la ville de Kirkland, la dérogation mineure suivante au règlement de lotissement 90-59. Il s'agit du 6 rue de l'Artiste sur le lot 6507132, situé dans la zone 163R, afin de permettre que la superficie minimale de ce lot soit de 770,4 mètres carrés, donc 8292,5 pieds carrés au lieu de 830 mètres carrés, tel que stipulé à l'article 3.1c. Cette dérogation mineure sera applicable sur ce lot projeté dans l'éventualité que le lot n'est pas créé selon le plan de subdivision soumis avec la présente demande. La dérogation sera considérée nulle et non applicable.
Proposed by,
I'll propose that, all before.
appuyé par,
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
merci, thank you.
9.3 is another minor exemption. It is proposed to grant in conformity with bylaw 9063 regarding minor exemptions. The following minor exemption to zoning bylaw 9058. The address is 16908 Trans-Canada Highway is the Bureau en gros. It's on lot 6044935, located in zone 234M. In order to allow a second sign on the front building facade instead of two signs permitted on distinct facades of an establishment located at the end of a row of establishments as per Article 8.12.48.
Proposed by,
Proposed, John Morrison.
and seconded,
Le second April 12.
thank you.
9.4, une autre dérogation mineure. Il est proposé d'accorder en vertu du règlement 90-63 sur les dérogations mineures la dérogation mineure suivante au règlement de zonage 90-58. Il s'agit du 18 de l'artiste sur le lot 6507135 situé dans la zone 163R afin de permettre une marge latérale de 2 mètres, donc 6,5 pieds, au lieu du 2,4 mètres, 7,8 pieds, tel que stipulé à l'article 10.14. Cette dérogation mineure est applicable sur ce lot projeté et dans l'éventualité où il n'est pas créé, la dérogation mineure sera considérée nulle et non applicable.
Proposé par,
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
appuyé,
I will second that, all before.
merci.
9.5, it is proposed to take note of the request for approval of the site planning and architectural integration program and accompanying documents for the cadastral operation project on lot 1991644 in zone 163R, located at 17166 Chemin Sainte-Marie, and the extract of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on September 12, 2023, and to approve the site planning and architectural integration plans listed in item 3.3.1 of the minutes of the PAC meeting held on September 12, said plans being in conformity with bylaw SPAIP-2022-55 and having received a favorable recommendation from the PAC.
Proposed by,
I'll propose that, Nancy Kokina-Sidis.
and seconded,
I'll second that, Steve Bouchard.
thank you.
Au point 10, there is no business pertaining to public security and traffic table at the sitting, which brings us to item 11.1, le comité consultatif en environnement. Il est proposé de nommer les membres du comité consultatif en environnement comme suit: le président Mike Brown, conseiller, vice-présidente Mme Nancy Kokina-Sidis, conseillère, les personnes ressources, M. Alexandre Gervais, chef de division, et Christopher Parra, directeur, service de l'aménagement urbain et environnement, Mme Barbara Kelly, M. David Cruz, M. Daniel Trottier, d'accorder aux membres du comité consultatif en environnement un mandat s'échelonnant du 1er novembre 2023 au 31 octobre 2024 et de fixer le jour de la tenue des assemblées régulières mensuelles de ce comité au premier mardi du mois à compter de 19h.
Proposé par,
Je propose John Morrison.
et appuyé par...
I'll second that, called for.
Merci.
We are now under item 12, agglomeration business. The mayor has informed us that there is nothing to report following the regular sitting of the Montreal Urban Agglomeration Council that was held on October 19, 2023. Il n'y a aucune affaire gouvernementale qui est traitée séance tenante, ce qui nous amène aux résolutions d'appui. The first one is the awareness campaign against domestic violence, considering that the Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms recognizes that every human being has the right to life and to personal security and viability and freedom, considering that it is in the private sphere that this right is most threatened for women, and that in 2019, the Ministère de la Sécurité publique du Québec counted 16,626 women victims of offenses against a person committed in a conjugal context. Considering that since 1995, Quebec has adopted an intervention policy in matters of domestic violence, that there is a broad consensus in favor of equality between men and women, that despite the efforts made, domestic violence still exists and constitutes an obstacle to the achievement of this equality, and that during the 12 days of action for the elimination of violence against women from November 25 to December 6, actions are taking place throughout Quebec. Finally, considering that as a local government, there is a cause to support the efforts of the Regroupement des Maisons pour Femmes Victimes de Violences Conjugales and its member shelters to raise awareness among citizens about domestic violence, it is proposed to proclaim the town of Kirkland allied municipality against domestic violence.
Proposed by,
All proposed is Nancy Kokinasides.
seconded by,
And I'll second that also, Mike Brown.
thank you.
Au point 14.2, considérant que la Journée internationale des personnes handicapées a été instaurée par l'Organisation des Nations Unies afin de promouvoir les droits et le bien-être des personnes handicapées dans toutes les sphères de la société, que cette journée vise à sensibiliser la population à la réalité des personnes handicapées et aux difficultés que ces personnes rencontrent au quotidien, qu'il est possible de faire une différence pour bâtir une société plus inclusive en passant par les citoyens, les employeurs des écoles et les municipalités. Il est proposé de décréter le 3 décembre 2023 Journée internationale des personnes handicapées sur le territoire de la ville de Kirkland et d'inviter la population kirklandaise à participer au changement en relayant de l'information en lien avec cette journée, en encourageant la réflexion et en prenant des initiatives afin de faire une différence pour bâtir une société plus inclusive.
Proposé par
I'll propose that, Mike Brown.
et appuyé par,
Je secondé, John Morrison.
merci.
We have one last item under supporting resolution. Considering that John Abbott's College intention to build a multi-sport complex to serve the college students and the surrounding community, considering the request for cooperation and support received from John Abbott College as part of their grant application to the Ministère de l'Éducation, du Loisir et du Sport, it is proposed to support John Abbott College in its application for a grant from the Ministère de l'Éducation, du Loisir et du Sport to build a multi-sport complex to serve CEGEP students and the surrounding community.
Proposed by
I'll propose that, Steve Bouchard.
and seconded,
I will second that, called for.
Au point 15, le conseil municipal prend acte du dépôt de la correspondance du mois d'octobre 2023 par la greffière. There is no new business table at the sitting, ce qui nous amène à la période de questions du public, qui est maintenant ouverte. Tout membre du public qui désire s'adresser au conseil municipal est prié de faire la file derrière le micro. Lorsque le droit de parole vous est accordé, veuillez ne pas toucher le micro Énoncez vos noms et adresses et formulez votre question de manière claire et concise en vous adressant au max pliant dans un langage respectueux. Chaque intervention est limitée à 2 questions. Il vous sera possible de poser des questions supplémentaires lorsque tous les membres du public qui désirent s'adresser au conseil auront eu l'occasion de le faire. Public question period is now open. Members of the audience who wish to address the municipal council are requested to line up behind the microphone. When given the floor, please refrain from touching the microphone, state your name and address, and direct your question to the acting mayor in a clear and concise manner, using respectful language. Each intervention is limited to 2 questions. You will be able to ask additional questions once all members of the audience who wish to address the municipal council have had a chance to do so.
Good evening, Bishop Lamanti, Moreno.
Yes, Marino, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks.
Good.
I'd like to see all of you after an absence of 1 meeting. I was told that I was missed, which is nice to know.
Who said that?
Yeah.
Were you?
Hey, Marino? Who said that?
It's okay, somebody very nice said that. I'd like to know if the starting dates for the 3 main condominium projects that will be built where the brick is and where Tim Horton used to be, and the Doodleland property. Do we know any starting dates for these 3 projects?
I'll let Joe answer that. Maybe he can supply you the dates if we have the definite dates.
We don't have definite dates, Marino, with the economy being as such. Things have slowed down and we're still waiting for people to get back to us. So everything has been delayed as far as where we're today.
Okay. How will it work? I might be interested myself personally, that's why I'm asking the question. Will the dates be announced or anything will be announced? Or just look for the regular signs that will be put on bulletin boards?
The zoning changes for the Prevail, the brick, and those are the 2 projects. The zoning place are already in place. The social model project you're referring to has not been changed. The zoning has not been changed. So that's got to go through this entire legal process if it should be adopted or if it should be approved by council. So I would say keep your eyes open for smart centers and for Prevail. There will be signs that will go up when they're going to start selling or building. And for Sochimot, you're going to get more information through this council when the process for adopting the change of zoning goes through.
Okay, the other question, there are a couple of changes that were mentioned this evening with respect to the street like this. That street has been in existence, what, over 10 years? If my numbers are probably even more. Why wait until this time to finalize the arrangement? I mean, that part I don't understand.
So
No, go ahead.
the west side of the Alcist, or the east side, I guess, if you're facing north, has never been developed. So
Has never been one?
The west side.
The west side of
Facing north.
facing north.
The west
The
side.
west side, sorry. So the west side of the Alcist, you have one home right now on one side of the street, right?
Yeah.
You have the other side of the street that went up for sale by the family. That is zoned residential, and it's coming up because there's interest in building something on that site. And that's why you're having the minor irrigations, if you want, that have gone through tonight.
But this point came up several years ago, and I asked a question, and if I remember correctly, either 4 houses can be built on it, or 6, I don't quite remember. It doesn't matter, so wasn't it established at that time all the necessary paperwork?
No, so the ministry got involved in the patrimoine, in the protection of the home. So the first, what you're seeing tonight is the first four lots you're referring to, right? So from Chemin Saint Marie up 4 lots is what you're seeing on the agenda tonight. What is where the house sits, the area of the property that the ministry decided to protect is still currently under negotiations with the property owners as to what can be done, what can be built, and access to it. So what I can tell you tonight is that the intent is to put 4 homes on that street on the southern part of that street, or on the northern part of that street. On the southern part of the existing house right now, we have no information.
Did I hear you correctly say that the house is being deemed by the provincial government to be protected?
The house that's on the site right now that was owned by the former artist Dodeline,
Yes.
there was a ruling by the ministry to protect the home as a heritage home. And that doesn't mean though that it's protected as it is. The home itself is in need of repair. So there are negotiations right now going on with the property owners to see what can be done, how it can be done, and that's really with the ministry. What you're seeing tonight is about the 4 homes that we have control over, which is north of that property towards Chemin Saint Marie.
By the way, I did walk up the street up to the house, and there are instruments on site for doing some sort of renovation, so it's being done.
The ministry's been involved now for over a year, and the ministry and the property owners are doing everything they can to make sure that the house does not get damaged any further. Because there were leaks in the roof, there were other issues that were with the home. So I know they've been doing some work to try and at least seal it up so there's no more additional damage being done to the home. But that's where we are right now. They're still negotiating what can be done, how it can be done, who's going to do it. All that stuff is still between the old property owners and the ministry responsible for heritage homes.
Thank you for the info.
Yeah, Marino, just to let you know, of that whole property, 40% is being protected by the heritage, under the heritage agreement with the government. So it's the 40% south of the south where the house is with the workshop and the farmhouse and all those things.
And the green woods as well.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Bob Cox, 168 Niagara. My first question would be the meters. You heard of Jack Benny, 39, but I'm not 39, I'm 81. And I have to crawl down under a crawl space to go and read that meter. We're in the 21st century where there's satellites that when hydro and natural gas and other companies, that either it's a phone that's connected, satellite, or maybe internet now. What is your proposals about these meters? I mean, the city put them in, and now we have to crawl.
Okay.
Just a second, let me finish. This is the last year that I'm crawling underneath that crawl space to go read the meter.
Bob, I understand what you're saying, but think about it. It's a city, it's a local thing. If we have to provide smart meters for every household, it's possible. The cost would be tremendous. We would have to ensure that every home has internet, is connected in one way or another with the city. So that's something to propose, but you have to keep in mind the cost related to it.
Mr. Acting Mayor, not all houses have to be crawled. I'm stating that the split levels, everybody has to crawl and to go underneath, to go and read that meter. So it could be a start that the city could probably look into starting a section at a time somewhere, I don't know.
Well, maybe, you mentioned your age. Maybe there's some members here from our older residents committee. I have to watch the words I use. The seniors committee. maybe they could come up with a plan where volunteers can come into your house and read it for you if you can't
Because
crawl underneath, you know?
this is.
It might be a cheaper alternative.
No, a cheaper alternative. It's about time maybe the city looks into this. You know, I mean, it's,
We've taken note of it and we'll discuss it. Thank you.
Section 7.3, there's a little typing error. It's both, I could read both languages. It's in French on both sides.
And you want to explain the way
Yeah. So, as you know, the government of Quebec has changed its charter of the French language. That is why now their programs and their names are only in French. So that's why you see at the end of 7.3 in English, application for financial assistance, but the rest of it must remain in French.
Okay. Would Joe explain a little bit about 7.4, please, on the real guy?
What 7.4 does, Bob, it allows me to sign any transaction or deal with the owners or developers of the Rio Can site. That's all it does.
That's all. It's not nothing to, what about the parking and all that? This is a big concern.
We understand that. If you have a concern about that, but 7.4, as it's stated in the agenda tonight, is strictly for signatures of agreements. And that's where we are with that one.
I don't want, I got another question, but I have to give somebody else a.
Hi, Connie Cusano for Dragon, and good evening to the women on the council. I'd like to bring up the topic of these sidewalks on Brunswick, the extended sidewalks that are in the middle of the street. Would it be possible to put some reflectors on those sidewalks, just as you have in the center of Brunswick? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because
Part of Brunswick is in my district.
we used to have
Yeah.
the planters on those sidewalks, and they had reflectors, if I'm not mistaken.
I think there used to be reflective paint painted in the side that sticks out.
Well,
They got
it's
reflectors.
a yellow paint.
Yeah.
A lot of that paint
It's been
Been-
washed away.
is removed, and I did my share. I ran into it 10 days ago. And on a dark, rainy night, you could hardly see them. But if we could install reflectors as we have in the center, I think that would help solve the problem.
Ms. Suzanne, I've taken note of your request.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Let me go first, please. You can't have a second turn until.
I respect protocol.
Good evening, everyone. Luc Bijon, 16876 Finest. Trudeau and Legault have refused to call for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Mr. Bijon, this has nothing to do with municipal politics, right?
It has something to do with cities, Canadian cities, American cities that are going to be probably attacked by terrorists. It does. There could be a terrorist attack on the island of Montreal in the next few months. Okay.
Andrea?
So if you're not,
Protocol, please, Andrea.
if you're not
Discuss.
interested
Please.
to know what could be happening in the next few months, that's fine with me.
Thank you.
I'll direct my question to people who want to have a question like that.
Thank you. We all saw your questions. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
very
we
much.
should have that.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Marie Michaud again. Just want to clarify about the extension of the Jacques Bizard connection to 140, is that the same as it was 15 years ago? Like west of St. Charles as opposed directly from Jacques Bizarre on sources to
40 years ago.
Well, you know, what
It's the same thing, but you know, something happened in Pierrefort, I don't know. Pierrefort allowed the construction of a row of houses right in the middle of the passage that was supposed to be, to try and block this whole project, but I guess that's what they're working on right now. They're gonna figure that out. Yeah.
Reno, you kind of mentioned west of St. Charles?
Yes, is it west of St. Charles or along say
East. It's along what is it, Somerset?
Somerset?
Coming right off the bridge, right off the Wizard Bridge.
So then, what happened to the old project where between
behind rail gap.
Yeah, that's only being built for buses and bicycles.
So is this a new one or a new project or what's happening? I'm at a loss then.
Which one? This one? You're talking about the El Bizarre?
Yes.
No, there's no project per se. We're trying to encourage the government to at least start building this project before the REM is built.
Well,
So that we can
definitely
get-
there's a need. Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's two different. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Paul Margaret, 28 and Duff.
Good evening.
All doing well. Maybe the wrong time here, maybe the wrong meeting, but wanted to know a bit of an update on the fence around swimming pools. Is there anything changing? I've got a huge problem if things remain as they are. And I'm just wondering how I can address that, plan it.
Yeah, it's a situation that affects a lot, but Joe?
What I suggest you do, we have a urban planning department here. What I suggest you do is you give them a call.
Yeah.
And they will come visit your site and they will work with you to determine how it can be done. The extension or the timeline, if you want, that was extended by the government is now in June to July of 2025. So we have a little bit of time, but the sooner you do that, the better. It's probably a good time of year to be doing that right now. What I can do at the end of the meeting is give you contact for you to call at City Hall over here. And that's the easiest way to do it. Call somebody, make an appointment, they'll come visit your house, they'll have a look at your property, they'll give you all the possible options and work with you to try and find a solution.
Is this a good time of year or wait till spring?
This is a great time of year. It's a little slower in spring, it's usually the worst because we're usually busy with permits. So probably,
Yeah, and Paul, do it quickly because before the snow comes in, so we can see.
Finally, it's shortly, I'll come tomorrow.
And many residents have used that service, and they're
sorry?
very happy.
Very happy.
A lot of residents have used the
Oh,
service,
yeah.
and they're very happy because it
Yeah.
makes things clear.
So I got a message for these.
the gentleman in the back.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear his question. So
It's about the swimming pool.
Reno, 1 second.
Fence
Mike,
Fence around the
Oh,
swimming pool.
can you give Mr. Barbera
Makes
the
sense.
part?
I'm sorry.
For Victoria Baker. So, that's the phone number for your call in your urban planning department.
Very good.
And they
Thank
will
you very
answer all
much.
your questions and take care of it.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, you're welcome. Reno, the question was about pools, about fencing around pools.
Good evening. My name is Pierre Shaw. I live at 11 Camden. I've been there since 40 years.
Monsieur Richard, si vous voulez continuer en français, on est bilingue ici.
C'est comme vous voulez.
C'est à vous. C'est vous qui devez vous sentir confortable.
Mais en tout cas, je vais continuer en anglais.
Parfait.
D'accord. On vient d'installer un speed bump il y a quelques semaines, donc il y a peut-être un mois ou un mois et demi. L'emplacement de ce speed bump-là cause des problèmes énormes.
Sur quelle rue encore?
Sur la rue Canvin.
Canvin.
Et ce que j'ai eu comme réponse, c'est que le speed bump a été installé à cause que les gens ne faisaient pas de stop en direction de la rue Stillview. C'est un fait. Les gens ne font pas le stop. Il y a peut-être des raisons pourquoi, mais peut-être que le stop n'est pas très visible là, de la rue. Puis peut-être que s'il était éclairé, ce stop-là, avec des lumières d'aile, peut-être que ça attirerait l'attention des gens. Quoique c'est un coin à l'ombre. Alors, peut-être que la lumière ne sera pas suffisante pour charger la petite batterie. En tout cas, ça, c'est à voir. Mais le problème est le suivant, avec la position du speed bump, ça a été installé direct sur le stop.
C'est ça un speed bump. Un speed bump, c'est au stop. Un speed hump, c'est
There's a speed bump at the stop
at
sign.
the stop, and a speed hump entre les rues.
Yeah, he's talking about
The speed bump,
at the
yes,
stop sign.
that's right.
Et j'ai des caméras de sécurité chez nous qui enregistrent 24/7. Si vous voulez, je peux rendre des images de ça disponibles aux autorités de la ville ou à l'officier de police qui a jugé que ça prenait un speed bump là. Vous allez voir sur ces images-là qu'il y a au-delà de 50% des gens qui se dirigent vers Stillview qui ne font pas le stop. D'accord? Il y a au moins 50%. Puis ça, j'ai des vidéos, j'en ai 2 terabytes. Il y en a en masse.
Bien, je vous suggère, M. Sanalitro a pris vos coordonnées. Je vous suggère, je vais lui demander de vous contacter pour en discuter avec lui. Peut-être qu'il pourrait arranger quelque chose pour voir ces vidéos avec vous.
Oui.
Et voir ce qu'il pourrait faire. Mais si le speed bump a été installé là, c'est parce qu'il y a une étude qui a été faite, une étude dans notre comité de sécurité publique et trafic, et cette étude a démontré qu'il y avait vraiment besoin d'avoir un speed bump à cet arrêt. Donc, s'il y a d'autres informations, je suis certain que M. Sanalitro pourrait vérifier avec vous, puis voir à la suite.
Je suis d'accord avec un speed bump. On a eu des speed bumps dans le passé, des speed bumps temporaires dans le temps que Kirkland installait des speed bumps temporaires, puis les enlevait l'hiver. Sauf que ce speed bump-là était aligné avec 2 stationnements, c'est-à-dire le stationnement au coin de Cambin et Bruce,
Oui.
et puis le stationnement extérieur de 2 Camden Street, le manoir.
Oui.
Le problème avec le speed bump en avant de chez nous, ça crée des mini tremblements de terre sur ma propriété. On est sur une couche d'argile. Et quand les camions, surtout les camions qui tirent des trailers,
Qui ne font pas leur stop.
c'est pas ça, ben non, c'est pas. C'est qu'ils viennent, eux autres, de Stillview. Quand ils passent sur le bump, c'est quand ils déboulent le bump. La charge tombe carré sur le sol. C'est ça qui fait des vibrations.
Joe, can he,
Il y a un grave problème là-dedans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I answered with your wife Judy, right?
Yes.
With Judy, right? Your wife?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and you read my email?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and I just want to go over it again. We've had numerous complaints.
I understand that.
Yes, from the immediate area and outside that area, from other municipalities, complaining that cars are going through that stop sign. Okay?
Which one?
That Camden and Rouge. What are you talking about?
Well, there's one on the, going to Stillview or going to?
I'm talking about the one right at Camden and Bruce, right across, right by your house, and right adjacent to the senior citizen residence.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, but there's two stop signs. at the corner of Woods. There's
Yes.
one
Yes.
in the direction
Yes.
of André Brunet,
Yes.
and the other one is in the direction,
That's
in
right.
front of the manor,
Yes.
in the direction of Stillview,
That's right, okay,
okay?
yes.
Now, the problem is also, in the winter, this speed bump is gonna create problem with snow plowing, one. Two, my property is at the level, actually, according to Public Works, is below grade level of the street.
Yes.
And it's an exception, I don't know how come it happened, but it did. And they pay special attention to my property because when snow melts, it creates a lake in my driveway. And since the snow clearer don't clear up to the gutter, there's some snow in the street still. Evacuation of the water is not easy, and the puissant to collect that water is blocked all the time. And the speed bump is right at the puissant. I understand that there's this much that, to let water, but the city is gonna have a hard time cleaning it to keep it flowing. So it's gonna be a problem. My asking is, would the council reconsider its decision as to the positioning of this speed bump?
Where would you,
Well, I would suggest that the speed bump be placed where the temporary ones were, which would be in front of these two parking lots that I cited before. And it would serve the same purpose. And you need to light up the stop sign you need to do something to attract attention. Or put a pole like we have on Imus that goes over the street in an L, and you have the stop sign right into your face.
Thank you very much. We'll certainly look at it.
I respect the decision of the council,
Okay.
We'll take a look
but
at it.
I would like you guys to reconsider, because it's creating havoc. And it's extremely noisy now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Cobbs, 168 Niagara. When I address these people, I forgot to address the ladies. Excuse myself. I would like to talk about the pickup of the leaves. It's the bags. The people that gets the bags, they pick up the leaves. I appreciate that very much. I know that there's that the sweepers have been going around more frequently.
On weekends too.
Yes, I know all that. I check all that out, sir. I'm very, very aware of what's going on. And still, I see different places where people have contractors coming in, picking up leaves, and all of a sudden they just blow it up. The sweepers just went by these streets, and the leaves are blowing away. I don't know whether you should address that issue with the contractors when they're working on public land.
Yeah, Bob, it is a problem. I've noticed it many times where the landscapers are blowing the leaves, cut grass into the middle of the street. And it's been brought up. I'm sure Joe took some notes right now, and he'll address it and make sure that it's when they come up for their license renewal in the spring, he'll make sure that they understand how important that is.
I know that the city is very thoughtful of handing out the bags, the 15 bags. I don't know whether the city could do a little more about about the sweepers. I don't know, adding another sweeper. I've seen them come up the street twice, different places and all that. Is there any recommendations, Joe, about adding more sweepers for the month of October or something like that? You could see the interior. I mean, I'm not just talking my area. I'm going around the areas, and they're doing a good job. Don't get me wrong, but before the snow comes and all that.
So our intent, Bob, is to make sure that we pick up the majority. We're never going to have every single leaf picked up.
No, I know that.
So what we did this year that was different is, we have, as Dominic mentioned before, they're working 7 days a week.
Yes, I know that. They did that last year too. You started last year.
They're putting in extra hours in the morning, extra hours at night. So there's a lot of overtime going on. We also went out and when you can lease vehicles, we didn't buy, we have two sweepers that are owned by the city.
Yes.
We actually signed a contract with the company that provides a sweeper and a driver for it. When you rent a vehicle, you also have to rent the driver who goes with it.
Okay.
And we've had that individual in the city when we can't keep up with it. So, for example, if we had a water main break and my guys needed to get pulled off to go work on the water main break, then that we would bring in for that day a contractor to help maintain. We believe that we're going to be okay this year to have picked up the majority of all needs in the city will be as can be expected of a municipality.
Because your snow removal is unbelievable. You go out there, and I'm just wondering whether it could be contracted out a little more of it.
I have a union to deal with, and they're very concerned about when we go out the contract.
Okay.
So that's one of the issues we have with contracting, but they're working with us. They understand that when we bring in the contractor, it's strictly because they can't keep up or that they are busy doing something else. So there's no intention of buying a third sweeper right now. We will deal with it this year, where we can sign a possible contract and work it that way and see how that goes. Everything is an adjustment, right? So we're trying it this year, Bob. We'll see how it goes. If it's successful, great.
But last year you did it too.
Yeah, exactly.
I seen it going on the weekends too.
We didn't bring in a contractor last year, which we did this year. So we're
And leaves are falling late this year.
and leaves are falling. They fell and now they're falling again, right?
So everybody picked it up,
Bob, I have 5 trees on my property. 2 have leaves completely still on them, and 3 are empty. So
I've been going every day at it,
So we're
Hey,
doing
Bob, my daughter lives in Saint Lazare, 154.
Yeah, but Saint Lazare is still coming. One more on 7.3. So you're saying that we're going to have artificial ice next year?
No. Joe, please answer.
Well, what we're saying, Rob, is we're looking at putting artificial ice at Hollifer. What you saw tonight on the agenda was the application for a grant. So we're looking for money that's available from the government to help fund for potential of an artificial ice on the Hollifer.
It's because I was in Notre Dame out there road today, and it's a small place, and they've already got it, so. Because what is the budget this year for our 5 rigs? 160, 170,000?
I don't know what the number is. You're asking me for a number I don't have right now. What I can tell you though is I need to have 5 rings.
Yes, okay. So last year was 140, 150. This year is what?
I don't remember, Bob. I'm sorry. You can call me tomorrow and I'll give it to you.
No, it's okay.
Don't forget we're doing it in-house now, right? We're not doing it
It's time for.
We always said to you that we're not looking at it, and now you have an application for a grant.
Yes.
Take that as a positive sign, and we'll go from there.
Now, my next question, where are we with the complex center for pool?
Oh, the pool, well.
Yes.
Listen,
Never.
That's wrong what you just said.
We're undergoing studies, feasibility studies. So we're waiting for results to see all sorts of questions. There's no decision has been made as to whether or not there's going to be a pool, whether there's going to be 1 or 2 hockey rinks. Skating rinks, not hockey rinks. rings. Gymnasiums, that's all up in the air, and we're waiting for some feasibility studies to come back to us to see what we should put in, where we should put them in, how much it's going to cost us, how much will the federal and provincial governments give us to put them in. So we're waiting for all that. It's not going to happen in the next year or two. Bob, it would even if we decided today, it would take a hell of a long time to build. So,
2 years.
yeah. Well, that's why I said it's not going to happen next year or two.
There's a lot of work to be done on that project, Bob.
Yeah.
It's too big an investment to not do it right. If we
Well,
choose to go that way.
I mean, we got a bit of the funds for it.
Those funds are for all the residents of
I
Kirkland,
understand.
not just for those interested in
No,
recreational.
Just a second, I said, we got some funds, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Andrea Katz, 17086 St. Marie. Nice to see you there, Mr. Zito. First time for everything, I guess.
Thank you.
I'm concerned with, well, obviously the world situation, not up for discussion, but there's a lot of municipalities who I've spoken to who've had issues with posters being put up, posters being taken down. We have enough going on in the world and this and everybody on site, so I just want to know if there's a preventative medicine to say no posters up at all.
Posters about what?
Yeah.
Palestinian, Israel, it's a big thing. I've already talked to a few mayors, I've already talked to a few, they're having issues already. Major.
Yeah, we haven't had any issues.
That's
so
right,
far.
so
But
they won't
I
have
understand what you're talking about.
Yes.
You're referring to dollar? What happens, what's
dollar
going to happen
and
in
a few
dollar?
places in Montreal,
Okay.
yeah. I've spoken to Alex already.
So what are you proposing something?
Just that, I don't know the bylaw that, I know for certain times that you should put up, you're allowed to put up posters. I mean, someone loses a cat or a dog, put up a poster or whatever. It just takes one or two or three and then it becomes out of hand and then this one puts up for this side and this one puts up for that side. It's not like elections that you put up and it's temporarily taken down.
Yeah.
Or real estate signs, you put it up, you take it down. It's become a very angry issue. The world is, you know, even when Mr. Pigeon was talking, I mean, it's not a place, it's not a forum to talk with. You know, everybody has an opinion, pro, against, whatever, and everyone's entitled to their opinion.
So what are you suggesting, that we pass a bylaw to allow posters or to
No,
disallow?
there shouldn't be any. I don't think there should be for one side or the other.
Okay.
Not allowed.
I don't know, are we allowed, Joe?
I'd have to ask Andy that.
Because I know there's already obviously
Yeah.
different.
There are different issues with that. One of them is freedom of speech, so it's not clear cut on what we can allow and not allow and things like that, so.
But freedom of speech is more than freedom. We're talking severe aggression and, I mean,
Yeah,
before we wait till it happens and then you deal with it.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna get
What
better,
about
it's gonna get worse.
when the guys put up posters we repair windows or something, doesn't public security take them down? Yeah.
They do.
Because it's commercial.
Well, I know public security has been taken down in the other
Property
cities.
or what? After it's done? No.
Absolutely.
Just a quick question, Andrea, are you talking about posters on people's lawns?
No,
or
on public
I don't
spaces.
think that.
If someone's gonna put it on their own property.
It's something that Andrea said, we'll look into it and see what the law is exactly, what the bylaw says.
We have,
And Joe will get back to you.
When we have advertising on the poles, you just call in,
And
public
they take
security
them
comes
down.
and takes it down.
Exactly, that's
So
what
I
I'm
don't
saying,
see
just
any
to be
difference
more
between that.
diligent and aware.
As long as it's on poles.
You see what Joe is saying? There's a difference between commercial advertising.
And there's freedom of speech.
Yeah, freedom. It's something that we'll have to look into.
Public property,
If somebody wants to put it on their front door, obviously, it's their
Yeah,
own
if it's
thing,
on
but I'm
the
talking like,
property, it's something.
personal, like someone puts a garage sale, right, you take it down or whatever, and it's, yeah.
We don't have an answer for you. We need to look into it. So let me look into it. I have your number.
Perfect,
I'll give you a shout back.
appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
And the bags for the, there's no more bags, right?
There's no more bags. We went through.
I feel that about line.
We went through 26,000 bags.
Wow.
And then we tried to buy more and the supplier can't deliver.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we're down
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Bonsoir, Richard Boucher, 33 Chaudière, municipalité de Kirkland. Juste avant de commencer, les blowers pour les feuilles, là, si je ne me trompe pas, à Beaconsfield, ils ont passé une résolution, ils sont défendus, puis si je ne me trompe pas, à la ici.
Merci, on le savait. On était au courant.
On peut le passer ici. Ma première question, l'item 7.3. Quand je vais à la banque avec un projet, je demande du financement ou quelque chose, il faut que j'arrive avec un projet.
Quel...
Item 7.3. On fait une demande d'aide financière pour quoi exactement? Quel montant? Quel projet?
C'est pour la glace réfrigérée au parc Colorford. Il y a une possibilité, on est en train d'étudier la possibilité de mettre une glace artificielle à cause du changement climatique, à cause du l'hiver qui arrive plus tard à chaque année, puis qui démarre plus tôt à chaque année.
C'est pour ça qu'on fait la demande.
Exact.
À l'item 7.4, le conseil autorise le directeur général à faire une signature de documents. Pourquoi? Quel projet? Ah non?
Le projet Riocan.
Mais c'est quoi le projet Riocan?
Qui laisse marier au projet Riocan.
Ah non?
C'est un gros projet de construction possible qui s'en vient. C'est pour la construction autour de la station du Rennes. C'est tout en ligne. Si tu regardes en ligne.
Pourquoi est-ce que vous n'êtes pas tous d'accord? Il y a un conseiller qui a voté contre.
Bien, ça c'est.
C'est le droit de tout le conseil de voter contre ou pour les gens.
Ah non?
C'est
le droit de chaque conseil.
Non, je suis d'accord, mais il doit y avoir une raison. C'est juste des bâtiments. C'est un projet qu'on construit, il doit y avoir une raison. Pourquoi est-ce qu'il vote contre?
If I can answer. Monsieur Piché, la raison est bien simple. Pour ne pas retarder la possibilité d'aller chercher un permis de construction plus avancé, c'était la seule chance que j'avais pour objecter. Pour ne pas retarder le projet, ils m'ont indiqué qu'il fallait que je décide aujourd'hui d'annoncer mes couleurs, on va dire, et j'ai voté contre. La raison est simple, c'est parce que dans les ententes qu'il va avoir, qui doit signer bientôt, il y a l'entente pour le stationnement. C'est pas fait encore. Et peut-être les autres conseillers ont raison. Peut-être c'est moi qui se trompe. Mais j'ai le droit à mon opinion, et j'ai annoncé mon opinion, que pour moi, ça ne va pas assez loin. Qu'est-ce qu'on sait maintenant? Ça ne va pas assez loin pour aider nos résidents. C'est fort simple. Le stationnement, c'est pas signé encore, et on n'a pas eu de retour. Mais c'était ma seule chance d'objecter aujourd'hui parce que je ne voulais pas retarder non plus le permis qu'on doit aller chercher.
C'est pas le.
I'm sorry, can I say something, Mr. Mayor? I just.
You know, nothing's been signed yet, so we're pretty.
Let them
go.
No, she's allowed her opinion.
I would like to address.
Please, Mr. Piché, we're not talking to you. Please maintain order. Okay?
There's something I'd like to address, because I see my citizens also that said, you're all citizens of Kirkland, and I have a few that are in my writing, and I'd like to make sure everybody understands this. We had a mandate that we gave to the administration to look for parking for us. The administration came back with a contract, if you want, or an idea. They came back with proposal. And the proposal was exhausted, according to the administration. I'm talking just for me, not for the rest of the councillors, feel that I would rather have parking for my citizens and not take a chance to not have parking for my citizens. So I am pro this proposal. That's all I want to say.
I think there's some misrepresentation going on here. And I think that every single one of us had many issues on this question. So it's unfair to say it's one issue over another. We felt that as a majority that it was in the best interest of the city And of course, the city is made up of its citizens, so that it was in the best interest of its citizens that the mandate be given to Joe to sign and look at an agreement and discuss. And yes, maybe, when you measure the cons and the pros, maybe the pros are slightly better than the cons, but it's better to be on the side of the pros than of the cons. That's it.
Item 7.6. Allez-vous demander des appuis des autres villes?
Oui, c'est déjà fait. Tous les villes sont d'accord pour avoir...
On a des documents qui vont approuver cette résolution-là.
Oui, ils ont toutes leur propre version de ce même règlement, ou pas règlement, de ce même requête.
Plus question d'information, ça va être le plan original qui va être construit là, ou ça va être un autre plan?
On ne sait pas, c'est le gouvernement qui va décider.
Il y avait déjà un plan qui a été décidé.
Il y avait déjà un plan il y a 40 ans,
C'est ça.
puis il y a un autre il y a 15 ans. Peut-être celui qui va s'il décide de le faire, va être pareil, mais peut-être il y a des bonnes chances qu'il ne va pas être pareil.
D'autres questions, ce qui a trait, le conseil a-t-il envoyé?
Y a-t-il quelqu'un d'autre qui veut demander des questions? Parce que monsieur est sur sa troisième.
C'est correct.
Correct. Parfait. Je demande.
Le conseil a-t-il fait une résolution auprès de la Caisse de dépôt au sujet du bruit pour le REP et de faire les rectifications nécessaires avant l'ouverture?
Joe va vous répondre.
On a eu beaucoup de discussions avec la Caisse de dépôt sur le sujet du bruit, Richard. Ils ont appris de ce qui s'est passé dans les autres villes quand tout le monde a entendu des nouvelles. Right? Ce qu'ils vont faire, c'est immédiatement, quand ils commencent à essayer le train, puis d'habitude c'est un voyage ou deux par jour, quand ils font leur essai, ils vont prendre des readings de seismic readings. Pour être capable de déterminer s'il y a un problématique, puis la problématique va être corrigée avant que le train soit mis en place. Comme l'erreur qui s'est passée, mais c'est déjà adressé. On a eu une rencontre avec CDPQ, ils ont venu ici nous voir, ils nous ont expliqué ce qu'ils vont faire dans les espèces, comment est-ce qu'ils vont appliquer, comment est-ce qu'ils vont vérifier s'il y a une problématique de lui ou non.
L'autre question, la rampe d'accès pour les bicyclettes qui a été votée il y a 2-3 ans, va-t-elle être construite, ce secteur-là? Secteur géant?
Tu parles de la rampe sur le chemin Saint-Marie?
Oui.
Oui, elle va être construite. Oui, on a eu les signatures des propriétaires qui vont nous donner leur terrain pour être capable de l'installer. Puis on regarde sortir dans soumission et de faire la construction en 2024 pendant l'été.
Merci.
Merci à toi.
Une question, excusez-moi.
Allez-y, M. Cox.
Yes, I've noticed the pillars of the rim. I'm just talking about Kirkland now. I've already noticed, not in Kirkland, but there's graffiti.
I think you should go downtown.
Oh, I see the highways. I see it, unbelievable.
I don't know how the guys get up there to put them in.
I don't know, it's terrible, millions of dollars spent, hundreds of millions of dollars spent on beautiful projects. That is, when you go down there, I've been down there often, I've seen it, it's disgusting. Now, is there a special paint that they're putting on the pillars?
There's a special, yes.
Okay, is there maybe a possibility of a fence going right up, so they can't do it?
Well, they'll just climb over the fence.
No. Just a minute now, Mr. Mayor. This is the pillar. If you put the fence there, yeah, but if you put it right up to the top, they won't climb up and they can't do nothing then.
Have you gone on the Ville-Marie Expressway where the section is just before the water? The things are like 70 feet high.
I've seen that. I've seen it, sir.
So they'll find a way. But listen, a few years ago, we looked at a problem with the graffiti, and there were many suggestions made about stiffening the fines, making it more difficult for these people to get out of, with a $75 fine. It's not, it's, so we've been looking at that, and we will look at it again to make sure we stiffen the
I'm
fines.
just concerned about Kirkland.
Oh, no, it's a discussion that we had.
And like you said, a fence, Mr. Mayor, you could put a nice low round fence right up to the top where they can't do that.
Yeah, but it's not ours to
I
do.
know, it's the rib.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm concerned about the graffiti that's gonna go up.
Maybe it'll be nice. Bob, just as a thought, have you been to Italy lately?
No, I haven't been to it yet.
Well, if you go to Rome and you see those buildings or monuments and statues that are 2,000 years old, or you go to Greece and 2,500-year-old statues that are riddled with graffiti, that's humanity is like that.
Yeah.
Not everybody thinks.
No. Well, thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure that Kirkland is aware about those pillars all along.
Thank you. Any more questions? One more.
I would like to know, I don't know what the contracts for the snow clearing or the garbage stipulate, but on my street, Canton, I live on the side that there's only a border, there's no sidewalk.
Yeah.
And every winter for the last 40 years, they don't go up to that gutter.
Yeah.
Clearing.
They're supposed to. They're supposed
Snow accumulates over time,
Yeah.
and it creates a problem over time.
to.
I'd like to know, how can the city enforce that, whatever stipulation is in the contract?
Well, Joe?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe whenever Public Works figures out that it's time, they could have a snow blower and just cut right through.
Yeah.
As close to the gutter as
Sometimes,
possible.
listen, I know for a fact they're supposed to go curb to curb.
Well, they don't.
Okay? And sometimes it accumulates, it forms into ice. The snow blower won't break the ice that easily. But Joe, go ahead.
Joe, we have a list of problematic driveways in that his name probably should be on that list if it's problematic.
I was gonna ask that question. You said you're
I am, according to what Public Works told me, I am on that list that they take special care. That's fine with me. I'm not complaining about that. And the other thing, that's my complaint for snow. The other complaint is for the garbage collection. Whether it's the regular garbage or the blue box. The problem is that we leave them in containers with the lid to prevent animals from getting in them. And the next thing we know, we find the lid on that side of the driveway, and sometimes the can is on the neighbor's driveway. I'm not sure this is the way we want garbage collected in the city.
so.
And it's the same thing with the blue boxes. You ask us to put the blue boxes properly placed at the corner of the lot, and the next thing you know, once they've emptied it, they leave it in the middle of the street. I know time is money, but whatever stipulation you have in your contract, they for sure bill you. So,
Mr. Richard, I took a video on last Friday, and I showed it to Joe. I'm sure he's going to address the situation.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Juste un dernier point, sur la présentation du budget, est-il possible d'avoir le breakdown du budget d'équipe d'agglomération?
De l'agglomération.
On a des gros lignes, Richard, comme la police, les pompiers, tout ça, mais on n'a pas, je sais pas, quand tu parles de détails, tu parles de quoi?
détails. L'administration générale, sécurité publique, transport, hygiène, milieu, santé, bien-être, urbanisme et loisirs.
On va vous sortir des chiffres qu'on a, puis on va vous présenter ça.
Ça, c'est présenté par Dorval de Poisonnet.
Oui, c'est correct. Je me dis, si long, là aussi, puis j'ai pas dit non, j'ai juste dit
Non, non, plutôt avoir juste le total rendu à la fin, d'une année à l'autre, de voir ce breakdown.
Si tu veux les détails par là, on va te l'offrir plus cher.
Merci tout le monde. I invite everybody to think about our veterans that are no longer there, that fought for us, coming up on the 11th. Saturday. You know, to keep thinking and pray for peace all over the world. That's what we need.
Amen.
So, j'ai besoin de quelqu'un pour fermer la session. Un proposant, s'il vous plaît.
I'll propose that all four.
And seconded by?
I'll second it, Nancy Coggins.
And you're all invited to our next council meeting. Please come. Thank you.